Okay. Okay. Now shall we get started? Unless unless I have to take a break again, which I probably will have to say hi to the family, maybe. But, okay. Yeah, was yapping for like 3 hours. Now I'm down to actually start, Martha's character story. In the name of chivalry, we already did her survey. It was really quick. Uh, Actually, was it quick? I don't know. I mean, I stalled on that one too. Uh, I'm excited for this, especially after like the main story. It was really good. I like the main story at least. I gave it a I gave it like a 9. It wasn't a 10 for me. I'd probably give it like a super high 8. But I'm like running it up to like a 9. Yeah, coming off of that, off the fires of that, I'm I'm looking forward to this, and also I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to Igor's in the future as well. Uh, but um, yeah, this should be good. I'm looking forward to it. Let's get started. Old bandages, the scent of blood, and inescapable gloom. Ancient oaths converge with future duty. Bring light where there is darkness. Bring comfort where there is pain. In the name of chivalry. On the inside. Gonna put you on my TV and get on Megabunk for a bit. Sounds like a plan, man.
Ich, Marsha, lege feierlich diesen Eid vor meinen Brüdern des Orden ab.
Oh.
Ich gelobe Treue und Gehorsam, allen Besitz zu entsagen, für meine Brüder zu sorgen und den Orden niemals zu verlassen. Ich gelobe, den
How's
Hochlandorden in
Megabunk, by the
Ehren
way?
zu halten,
You been playing it more?
ihn treu zu verteidigen und meine Pflichten mit unerschütterlicher Hingabe zu erfüllen. Ich gelobe, diesen Eid ohne Trug zu wahren, den Gesetzen der Tugend zu folgen und den Rat meiner Brüder zu ehren. Bis zum Tage meines Todes.
It's fun as hell. That's what's up. Heck yeah, man. A hand rests on her shoulder, bringing with it the weight of enormous responsibilities. In the name of our sacred order and with the blessings of the Lord above, we accept your oath. We bestow upon you these gifts, bread, pure water, and your robes. Grand Master of the Order. She puts her hands together and allows the heavy cloak to settle on her shoulders. Another weight shifts onto the cloak, a hand. Today onwards, you walk the path of a knight.
It is more of a burden than an honor, Marsha.
You will learn that it is as much a burden as an honor, Marsha.
I understand.
She clutches her hands together, feeling the warm moisture on her palms. Fallback position, the foundation. This is the foundation? Another, like, encampment or something? The knight folds her hands once more. A rare peace settles over the safe zone. Oh, yeah. Basically, it is, yeah. Yet it does little to soothe the dead and dying.
Hear my prayer.
Brothers and sisters, you have proven your courage this day. Do not fear the darkness. I shall pray for you. May you rest in peace and in the light. She finishes her prayer and opens her eyes, composing herself once more. Since their long retreat, they've been forced to tend to the heavily wounded on the move. But for every soldier they save, another succumbs to infection. So many lives lost needlessly. If only we had proper facilities or just clean bandages. She lets out a heavy sigh. Marsha moves to comfort her. We've done all that we could. Margaret?
There's no need.
Every life is precious, but it is not in our hands to decide who lives and who dies. Sister Marsha, Commander Krayas is asking for you. I'm actually curious where this takes place. Is this after everything? Again, usually they kind of do that where they like give you like a little quick sneak peek of like after, right, in the future ahead, but then like they go back and like reminisce of the past. A lot of them do it like that. So I don't know if this is like already in the past or if this is, you know, in the future and it's about to be. I'm on my way. Marsha looks up at the dressing station once more before she leaves.
Commander Kreas.
Commander Cryas. I received a report from Razor Squad. They say that they've encountered a Hoshland Knight in Sen, not far from the front lines. Huh?
Do you mean...
Someone from my order. Seems so. Razor has attempted to contact, but she made it clear she has no intention of evacuating. I needed to go to Sen and find out what's going on. Temporarily put Manus Vindictae on the back foot, but it's only a matter of time until they come back in force. We can't have these sorts of loose ends blunting our efforts. I do believe you may be able to bridge the gap between the Foundation and your former comrade.
I'll do my best.
I'll do all I can. All that I can. But the dressing station... We're moving as many of the wounded as we can to the rear tomorrow. To real hospitals. They'll see proper care. There's a train to Sen in 2 hours. You're to leave as soon as possible. Understood, sir. The knight touches her pauldrons as she leaves the office.
I'm glad.
It's been so long. She feels a wave of relief, but it's soon tinged with anxiety. Train station, Sen. Corvus? Wouldn't it be something if it actually shows up? She feels a wave of relief, but it's soon tinged with anxiety. The train pulls into the station with a long whistle.
Marsha.
Marsha feels the tension in her neck relax a little as she steps off with the rest of the crowd. Marsha, you're finally here. Razor stands waiting for Marsha at the station. A look of pained helplessness is written across his face.
What is it?
Mr. Razor, please inform me of the situation in full. You were told about the knight that has refused to speak with us, correct? Well, there's another problem. We've gotten word of extensive movement from Manus Vindictae in the region. An offensive, perhaps? Or at the very least, a sizable troop redeployment.
But...
Our orders are to clear the area of all civilians but your old comrade. She refuses to budge. He shakes his head begrudgingly.
Why?
Do you want to evacuate? Do you have any idea why? I think that's something only you can figure out. But if her replies are any indication, she seems intent on fighting Manus Vindictae.
What?
By herself? That seems entirely unreasonable.
Exactly.
Now you see why we wanted you. We know that the Knights of the Hoshland Order are powerful. You're living proof of their capabilities. But we can't just let her charge out alone against the Manus. It'll put our operations here at risk. And we don't want unnecessary bloodshed. Our vows are our sacred commitment. It's little wonder she would want to fight. Still, I don't understand why someone from my order would refuse to cooperate.
What happened?
There must be some reason she is being so stubborn. I wonder what she is after. Archie keeps that question in mind as she takes her leave from Razor and walks from the station into the city. Well, that was quick. Where we stand now. Objectives, emotion weight reaches 30? Wait, what? What am I doing? Achieve the objective within the designated time. Stage objectives are shown here. Emotion weight is shown in numbers. Height weight emotions can absorb low weight ones. Oh, is this like a move your core around with a joystick? What? Use abilities at certain intervals? Is this like, what is the name of that one game? Oh my gosh, what is it called? It starts with an O, right? Oh my gosh, I forgot what it's called, but you're like absorbing and getting bigger as you eat all the smaller things. I know there's a lot of games that do that. Like, I know that I've played fish games and whatnot. You start off like as a tiny little fish, and then you become like a giant fish, and you start eating everything. There was like a itch.io game that had it. I don't remember what it was called, but you play as a sphere. But yeah, for those that know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments, actually. I don't, or even in the stream, I don't know. What is it called? Itch.io? Okay, well, I don't think I'm gonna find it. There is a lot of games on here. But either way, yeah, let me know. I don't even remember what it's called. Where we stand now. Sen. Sen has already seen the full brunt of arcane warfare. Their after effects turning the streets into a twisted mockery of their former existence. The Foundation succeeded in getting most of the population out before the fighting got too close, leaving the area like a strange, lifeless moonscape. According to Mr. Razor, the night should be somewhere around here. Marcia stands at the crossroads, taking stock of her surroundings. Closed doors, dark storefronts, occasionally life stirs in front of stirs in the form of passing refugees trudging their most treasured possessions toward the evacuation points. She already left. Stas, wait! Shout comes from the end of the street. Marcia turns alert and ready for danger. But no sooner does she turn than a tiny form slams into her leg. Watch it, lady. Don't you know Don't you know there's a war coming? The boy tumbles out onto the street, along with his felt hat and everything he's holding. Oh my gosh. Entschuldigung. Excuse me? I butchered that, I apologize. Is everything alright, young man? Are you hurt at all? Marcia crouches down to inspect the boy. Leave me alone. Mama's gonna catch me. The boy gathers his things in a rush.
Hold on.
She grabs the boy just as he is about to run, nearly causing him to stumble again. His mother runs toward them, out of breath.
What happened?
Stas, can I call you that? What happened? Why are you running around out here? This place isn't safe. You should go home to your mother. The boy twists with all his strength to break free from Marcia, his thin face flushing. Seeing that he can't escape, his shoulders slump in frustration. I just want to deliver a gift. A gift? Phew, you little brat. The boy's mother at last catches up, puffing with both exasperation and exhaustion, and gives his head a smack. Thank you so much, madam. I swear I look away for just 1 second and he starts charging into trouble. I wasn't charging into trouble. I had to deliver my gift. You always tell me to keep my word. Well, that's what I'm doing. There's no time for that. What if we miss the evacuation train? The boy pouts, but he has no argument.
Don't worry.
Would you let me know what's going on here? Please don't worry. I'm on a mission from the St. Pavlov Foundation. Marcia points to the badge on her crest.
I'll do my best.
On her chest. If it's something as simple as delivering a gift, perhaps I can help. Really? The boy wrings himself free and offers Marcia the item he had been carrying. Is this a shield? The construction is somewhat rudimentary, made of welded steel with an old belt for a strap, and it's on the smaller side, only as long as her forearm, but its purpose is unmistakable. Red paint twists into a shape across its rough surface. It's difficult to make sense of, but it seems to portray the silhouette of a building on a hill. My little Stas had a bad fever, but the way things were, we were worried we wouldn't be able to get him to a doctor. But then we came across this woman. Oh, she was wearing armor just like yours. The woman points toward Marsha's pauldrons, a bit surprised. She healed Stas, and to repay her kindness, he wanted to give her a shield to match her armor. My husband, he helped him make it from an old bucket. With the evacuation order and all the packing, we haven't had time to give it to her. I put it away for later. But then Stas happened to find it, and since then I haven't had a moment's peace.
Do you mean?
Sigil on the shield, is it meant to be a castle on a hill? That's right, are you... Yes, a fellow member of her order. I'm looking for her. Have you any idea where she is, and did you happen to get her name? Aye. Within an old but tidy house, a kettle begins to roll and cry with steam. A woman in knightly armor sits on a wooden chair, cleaning her helmet with care. It bears the scratches and scuffs of untold numbers of battles. It has clearly been meticulously maintained. Meticulously. The knock at the door breaks the rhythm of her work. Who is it? Sister Adelheid? Adelheid? I don't know if it's Adelheid or Adelheid. Sister Adelheid. I'll say it like that. Are you in there? Sound is soft and faint, filtered by the door, but Adelheid feels her heart skip.
Adelheid.
Oh, it's Hyde. Okay. It's me, Marcia. Oh, snap. The voice she could never mistake. Her palms feel numb as she moves toward the door. She almost involuntarily jerks it open. The face she sees behind the door is both everything she feared and hoped for. A face she has once thought gone and buried. A face that elicits grief and sorrow in every reflection. But now all she feels is joy.
I'm glad.
Adelheid, it's really you. I'm so glad. The woman in front of her is tired, maybe from a long journey, but breathing, radiating warmth. Not a skeleton, not some revenant or nightmare. Living, breathing at her doorstep.
Marcia?
It's a miracle! Marcia, you're here, you're alive! She nearly leaps toward her, her hands stretched outward, but she freezes in place from shock, or awe, or fear, she can't say. Yet Marcia reaches in and pulls her into a warm embrace.
Adelheid.
Yes, Adelheid, I survived Dead Man's Hill. I'm so glad you did as well. It is a true blessing being able to reunite in these times of war. Adelheid lets out a long-drawn breath and nestles into the hug before breaking from it with a reassuring pat.
Yes.
Come inside. The winter has come early this year. I'd rather not let the chill in. I have summoned for you a gift of thanks from Stas. Rough shield is delivered to the knight as promised. Adelheid takes it and turns it in her hands. Hey, I'll have to give him a proper thank you. Should we ever have chance to meet again, his family has done me a great service. They helped me find this place.
However...
But Marshall, I must know, how did you manage to survive? Question is asked alongside an offered cup of tea. The curling steam masks the betrayal at the heart of her answer. I was injured during the fight. When I went down, I thought perhaps I would die. But my armor had saved me from the worst of the damage. I used my training and waited. I just lay still, sealing away every thought and pain in my body until a medical team from the Foundation discovered me. I recovered under their care. But your armor... So it definitely seems that it is after the main story so far, right? That's what it sounds like. This was all that was salvageable after the medics cut me free, but I could never fully part with it. Not that it matters much. Armor is more of a hindrance than an aid on the battlefield now. We've always clung to our traditions, perhaps even after they were no longer of use. She studies Marcia as she speaks, taking note of her uniform beneath the pauldrons. No longer a knight, but not a soldier either, a nurse's frock. And on this new uniform, an unexpected badge, one she immediately recognizes with a stir of aversion.
Why?
Adelheid, why are you out here alone? Where are the other members of our order? Adelheid takes a long sip of her tea, as if trying to swallow down questions she hasn't yet found the courage to ask.
The Order.
A lot has happened in the Order. Suppose, first of all, that I'm now its acting Grand Master. In the event of the Grand Master's death... In the event of the Grand Master's death, the role is passed to the knight with the highest seniority until a new leader is confirmed. Neither needs to remind the other of this plain fact.
What?
What happened to Master Herman? It is as you fear, he's dead. Marcia can't help but draw a sharp breath.
What happened?
How? When did this happen? Or when did it happen? Less than a month ago? I heard nothing about it.
Back then.
Surely you know that Menace Vindictae rose out from the shadows, that they've unleashed this war on all of humanity rather than face the consequences of their manipulation. But their earlier infiltration was deeper even than anyone had known. Every communication network has been compromised or crippled, including ours. You have been away from the Order for too long. It's only natural that you wouldn't know. Marcia tightens her grip on the cup. There's a needle-like accusation in her words. Master Herman had led for more than a decade. He was a young novice and later knight. She had little direct contact with him. But she knew, as all young knights of the Order did, that Herman was a model of chivalry, brave, loyal, strict, and maybe a little too rigid, but a man worth looking up to. How did he die? The idea that a man of such virtue and wisdom was gone, that he had fallen in such some godforsaken battlefield, twists in her heart. He was killed in our very castle. Whoever did it framed things to look like suicide, but I saw the scene with my own eyes. There was a struggle in that room.
However...
Yet, the Order was under pressure from the government. The others decided to brush the investigation under the rug rather than face the possibility that we had been compromised like the army. I went through his letters and diaries. He had already noticed the shadows of Manus Vindictae operating in our ranks. Master Herman was loyal to his oaths and to us. He must have been attempting to expose them.
The Order...
But even so, once the military's involvement with the menace was revealed, things started to fall apart. Yo, what's up, Wavy? How's it going, man? There's only one thing that all of us realized. We had been betrayed. Hopefully you've been good, dude. We've been on reverse, man. It's been fun. A lot of happenings lately, or these last few days on the game. With the armistice coming, we withdrew from the fighting to determine what to do next. But even as we left the front, the visions began to show. Some wanted to return to Schloss, and build it into an independent state, to carve out our own personal kingdom, as it was in the ancient past.
I disagree.
Been good at work right now, though? Gotcha. Making some moolah. That's what's up. Had they learned nothing from the war? How were mounted knights supposed to rule in a time of machine guns and tanks? Did you end up pulling for Marcia, dude, or no? Have you been playing, have you started, like, the main story?
Yes.
I think they understood the futility. Maybe they even realized how foolish they were being. But when all falls apart, people often turn to nostalgia and tradition. They face into the bleak future and chose to believe in an idyllic past. But there was a greater tragedy. Manus Vindictae had beaten the main force home. They ransacked the castle, killed its defenders, and left it in ruins. Adelheid puts down her cup. Its bottom clinks as it hits the table. Centuries of wealth accumulated by our order, and all the rewards of its glory were gone. Her treasures are doubtless being melted down to fuel their schemes. Marcia closes her eyes. She knows every room, every corridor, every pillar of that castle. It was her home. She imagines all those familiar things being torn down, stripped, sold for parts, and melted into scrap. Firestorm of anger and humiliation wells up inside her. The years of training kick in, and she calms herself with her arcane skill. I hope the castle itself will be restored. The emotions fall away and reasons take over. Something clicks in her mind. Is that why you haven't left this place? Adelheide's lips curve.
Marcia.
Ugh. So, then you have come to me on behalf of your foundation? Finished the story already, it was pretty good. Saving for Paper Heron. Oh snap. Yeah, we have a next update's gonna be really sick. A lot to look forward to. The rerun of Liang Yue, Paper Heron's gonna be there. Shang as well. A lot of glorious looking garments. I'm excited, man. Stage 3. The first lesson. Lots to look forward to. Marcia falls silent. She looks at Adelheid, and Adelheid looks back, measuring her. I won't deny that I was sent here by them, and at the very least you have not sacrificed your honesty along with the rest of your sacred vows. I will never lie to or deceive another of our order, at least of all you. But there's no contradiction between my mission and my loyalty to you. Adelheid, you raised me. The order gave me a home and a purpose. I will always care for you and the safety of our people. She chooses each word carefully but sincerely. Her mentor holds a long silence, leaving only the sound of the windows rattling in the wind. At last, she breaks the quiet with intention. In 2 days, a convoy from Manos Vindictae will pass through Rejoya, carrying all that they've stolen from us. As acting Grand Master, I cannot allow them to escape with their plunder, not after failing to prevent their raid in the first place. I'll not allow this opportunity to pass untaken. But Manos Vindictae has weapons enhanced with arcane skills. You're only one knight. You can't do this alone. The danger is too great. Maybe you can work something out with the Foundation so that...
Danger.
Danger. Adelheid repeats the word under her breath like a rebuke. They killed Master Herman and violated the sanctity of our home. If our vows mean anything at all, we must answer these transgressions. To leave without avenging it.
Dies ist die schwerste Gefahr,
This is
der
great.
sich ein Ritter stellen kann.
This is the greatest danger a knight has ever faced. The order may be much diminished, but we are not so base. We are not so base as to ask bureaucrats to fight our battles. Adelheid's words land with weight. Her expression is cold in point of fact. The warmth and joy she had shown to Marcia is gone. Now she speaks to her as she would, and certainly has to any other St. Pavlov Foundation employee. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought it up. Pale sunlight outside the window cuts deep shadows across Adelheid's face. But then Marcia notices something in that cold detachment and pulls her friend's closed fist into her hands. Marcia? Anger, sadness, and disappointment begin to pass through their interlaced fingers into the young knight. The older woman exhales, relieved. Her emotions, too long dammed up, are now passed into another's hand. Objectives. Absorb all emptiness? Can I use my... What the... Cannot be absorbed. Collision can knock your core away, causing temporary loss of control. Cannot be absorbed. Collision can destroy your core. Oh, okay. You fail when stress reaches 5. Okay, so I don't want any of these on the right side. Enmity, meltdown, and anxiety. Okay. Can I? Oh, I can move with the... My gosh. Brother! Where's that other one? It was over here, right? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't remember the name of the game that played just like that.
Borne too heavy a burden, Adelheid.
You've borne this way too long, Adelheid. We are sworn to carry each other's burdens. You may doubt me, but I have not forgotten my vows. Those words made us sisters, and I will never forsake that bond. She can feel Adelheid's emotions spin over the words. A rush of anger, pain, and sorrow floods between them.
Well then.
You say you remember our teachings, but do you not remember the danger in taking in another's emotions? It is a last resort, only used in times of great peril. Did I fail to impress that lesson onto you? Or on you, too? Marcia smiles, feeling like that clueless young novice she once was, with a rush of embarrassment, then guilt, but also affection.
But
You taught me to put the needs of my comrades above all other things. That includes sharing their pain and their duty. So allow me to fight with you. If we stand together, we may stand a chance at succeeding. I won't leave you to fight this battle alone, sister. I don't presume to think I could tell you no. You've never listened to a word I've said. Marcia looks up at her mentor, feeling a hot flush of pride pass through her. We leave at dawn. Okie dokie. Outside Hoes Schloss? The crashing of the waves on the rocky shore does its best to drown out the little whimpers below.
Marsha.
I knew I'd find you here, Marcia. The young girl looks up, her face streaked with tears.
What's going on?
It was the other novices again, wasn't it? Marcia wipes her tears with her sleeve, but the spray of seawater has left her robes too damp to dry her face. What should I do, master? Adelheid lowers herself to the rocky precipice along with her. What do you think you should do? What do you think you should do, Sister Marcia? I tried to leave them alone and just do what I'm told, but...
I'm afraid not.
No. A warm, broad hand brushes the girl's tears. She looks up at her caretaker, confused. They upset you because you allowed them. You showed them fear, and they seized on it. Wolves do not strike a standing deer. The hunt begins only after they put them to flight. Then, be as a stag in the forest. When they push you, show no fear. Turn your antlers on them, fight back. But they're taller than me and stronger. Strength will come as you train. Height, too, so long as you remember to eat your vegetables.
Show everyone
must
that
show
you
them that
won't
you
be trampled underfoot.
You must show them that you won't run. They may howl and bark, you may even lose a few battles, but you must show them above all
You
else.
have the courage to fight back.
You are to be a knight, Sister Marcia. A true knight does not falter, nor does she pout. Adelheid offers a reassuring pat on the young girl's shoulder. I know. I want to become a true knight, brave and strong. She says the words with both innocence and ambition. The waves crash against the rocks again like drumming of a coming battle. Marcia opens her eyes. In the dark room, the only thing she could see is the faint metallic shimmer of light glinting off her pauldrons. Good. I don't need to wake you. By the window, Adelheid is already packing. Stas's shield is fastened at her waist. Marcia lets out a long breath. Please wait, Adelheid. I'll be ready in a minute. Soon Marcia shoulders her first aid crate and heads out with Adelheid. Okay. I do need to take a quick break. I am gonna go refill my water real quick, and I'm gonna go check on the family and whatnot. It shouldn't take me too long. I will be right back. Okay. We are back. I did a lot of stuff. Made some food, rolled the clocks forward and everything. Let's get started. Let's go back. I want to eat along while we read. Stage 4, the second lesson. Rajoa? Let me see. The two knights begin their journey across the war-torn countryside and reach Rajoa by nightfall. Stop at the outskirts of the town, already dilapidated before the war, a maze of husked-out ruins and empty buildings. The convoy should pass through here this time tomorrow. The road's narrow here before passing through the town center. We'll force them to slow and move in single file. This is where we launch our attack. Adelheid surveys their surroundings and points to the only path leading through the town. The houses here are all abandoned, most left in a hurry. There should still be some things left behind. Can borrow this house for the night. Marshall walks to the back of the house and examines it carefully. On the eaves, strings of dried nettle and yarrow sway in the wind. Marcia touches them, sweeping the dust away.
I can hardly believe
Has the
it.
Foundation given you leave to come along with me? I reported back to my commander and to Mr. Razor. At any rate, my task was to convince you to leave Sen. I would say this is an interpretation of those orders. Makes sense. He doesn't respond. The brisk wind passing through the old town rises to fill the void.
Marcia,
Marshall, I'm truly glad you survived.
you've broken your vow.
But I still don't understand your decision. Why didn't you ever attempt to contact us? Why would you want to leave our order? Shall never forsake the order, nor shall I hold fealty to another. Marcia had made these solemn oaths the day she became a knight. She had been waiting for these questions, accusations even, but when they arrived, she found that Adelheid's tone was far gentler than she expected.
I could not bear to take another soldier's life.
Path of knighthood should not be one of endless slaughter on the battlefield. If I returned to the order, if I had stayed a knight, I would have been forced to fight, kill, and die. Absolute loyalty to the order and unquestioning obedience to its authority, that was a demand made on all those who swore its oath, and one of the few she ever doubted. Dealt with this foundation of yours before. Admit their intentions seem noble, and they have done some good. Yet I also know they've been recruiting soldiers and amassing military
I'm
strength.
afraid not.
Foundation will soon command an army, moving between countries and acting according to their own authority. An organization with no oversight and no accountability. In many ways, they are as dangerous as Manus Vindictae. I agree entirely. Yeah, me too. But I have chosen to put my faith in them and what my own eyes have seen of their work. And with the Foundation, I'm free to do the work that I believe in, to save lives and not end them. I do so much more good with them than I ever could before. Mentor shakes her head ruefully.
I cannot approve that.
What you've done is without precedence in our order.
I understand.
I understand. Marcia doesn't rush to persuade her. She only focuses on what would matter most to her. I never truly abandoned my vows as a knight, and worry for the sake of the order.
Adelheid.
What do you want to do, master? The woman pauses, composing her thoughts and vision for the future. After I reclaimed our treasured relics and return them, I will begin a search for all our scattered knights. I don't know what comes after that. I will allow our future to unwind as it will. No, I'm certain it does not include setting up our own feudal state of an old castle. Marcia notices the confusion in Adelheid's words. Grand Master, may I share my thoughts with you? Yes?
I want to rebuild the Hochland Order as a humanitarian medical relief organization. That way, our knights can be freed from further bloodshed and return to the Order's greater purpose.
She gives way to the young knight's words, whether out of respect or genuine consideration.
I cannot approve that.
That is not who we are, sister. Marcia had expected her mentor's reluctance, but she purses her lips and doesn't back down. Adelheid, please consider the possibilities. I've given this a great deal of thought.
I still remember.
Since joining the Foundation and assisting people as a medic and a nurse, I've had a chance to reflect on the things you've taught me. You told me yourself that our order was founded as a place of healing for wounded soldiers and victims of war. Couldn't that be true again? Adelheid goes blank. That familiar look of forcefully suppressed emotion crosses her face, and she simply turns and walks into a nearby house. It's late. We need to rest. Marsha remains outside the door and lifts her gaze. Low clouds drift overhead like the palm of a giant, ready to close in, offering no escape. Marsha limps into the castle. Figure looks small beneath the towering columns. Shadow falls over her, swallowing her entirely. Adelheid? The knight wears a stern expression. She seems to have been waiting for some time. I watched your training today. You were ordered to fall back, yet you chose to stay behind and hold off the pursuers? Yes, ma'am. What was your reason? They were wounded. Someone had to buy them time, or the whole team might have been caught. You believe your sacrifice would guarantee their escape? Mission accomplished? Is that correct? Yes, ma'am. And did you buy enough time? No, ma'am. After I died, the pursuers caught up with the rest of the team. Her heroic sacrifice ended prematurely, attacked by a blunted spear. She was declared dead and put out of the fight. You stayed up behind alone, without any cover, without a plan. All you ended up doing was throwing your life away. Dang, I get what they're like, what... I get what's happening. The young knight is struck by her master's criticism, but she steels herself and defends her choice. Problem was her choice of evacuation route. If we had attempted the other mountain pass where the path was narrow, I would have been able to buy them enough time.
This is my choice.
A knight. A true knight is never afraid of death in the service of duty. Oh yeah, the time just went forward just now. Nice. Well, not nice, but I'm glad I have the time set already. She looked up at Adelheid, staring straight into her eyes, her lips pressed into a hard line.
What if...
If there is no narrow pass next time, what if we cannot guarantee your sacrifice will mean anything at all?
Marsha.
Do you think I don't know you, child? It wouldn't have made a difference. You've always acted recklessly. Lost an hour just like that. Yeah, actually. Volunteered to man the battering ram without even knowing how it works. The first to the front on every shield wall and the first to leap into every fight.
You were too bold.
It
seemed as if you would not accept any fate except that of a martyr.
I've been too effective. I fear I turn a scared little girl into a would-be martyr. Tone is self-critical, but she softens as she leans toward
I
Marsha.
understand.
I know you're eager to prove yourself. You want to show you're worthy of our vows with some great act of sacrifice. You want people to forget that you're just some lost orphan discarded in the snow.
Marsha.
That you are, instead, a valiant knight. A fighter worth celebrating through the ages. Isn't that right, Marsha? Marsha freezes her face. Flushing hot, her deepest desire has been laid bare with complete precision. Yes, it's true.
However...
You replaced your fear with bravado, but you haven't learned to use your courage effectively, making you foolhardy. Adelheid turns and motions for Marsha to follow.
Adelheid.
Where are we going? Her footsteps echo through the empty hallway. Time seeming to slip away in the rhythmic echoes. A new lesson, something just as important as bravery.
Cherish your life.
Yes? To cherish your life. Recklessness doesn't just waste your courage, it puts your comrades in danger as well. Marsha, do you know why the Hochland Order was founded?
I still remember.
Hochland? You told me before, it was created to tend to wounded soldiers. I think it's time I teach to you its history in detail. Adelheid stops and opens the library door behind them. The night is dark. Not a single light nor star illuminates the space beyond her view. Marsha listens to the rustling that pulled her from her sleep. Someone slipped in the middle of the night and is rummaging around for something. All but invisible in the darkness, she can spy Adelheid stirring awake. Without exchanging a word, they both continue to feign sleep, waiting for the intruders to come closer.
Shoot.
Damn it, nothing here. Just don't wake them up. The low whispers come from two men. They creep toward the cabinet above the knights' heads. Maybe that's what they're after? If it's not here, we have to get back. Regan finishes the sentence, Brian Man suddenly realizes he can't move. His body is pinned to the floor. Turns his head with difficulty, only to see a gun pressed against his partner's head. Wait! We were only looking for medicine. We didn't mean any harm. The red-haired woman tightens her grip on his wrist. Medicine, who are you? Ah, snap. As their shield. Marcia pushes a piece of gauze to the man's cheek. A cut from the rough wall pushed him into it. A cut from the rough wall she pushed him into. Adelheid holsters her pistol and folds her arms, listening to the other men. My name is Mikhail, and the man you're pinning against the wall is my comrade Alexei. We're from nearby Durovka? Are you soldiers? Yes, we were in Brest when the armistice was signed. At first, they sent us back to recover the hospital in town, but then things started to fall apart. We've been looking through these old buildings for medical supplies, anything we could use to help the wounded there. We thought maybe we could bring them back something before we got out of here. The hospital's really desperate for supplies.
What happened?
What happened to the hospital? Mikhail glances between Marcia and Adelheid, and his eyes brighten when he notices a badge on Marcia's chest. A few days ago, there was chatter that Manus Vindicta was launching an attack, but no one took it seriously. Thought they were on the run. They hit us in force. In just a few days, they overran what was left of the army and seized control of all the supply routes. Now they're squeezing the life out of every last pocket of resistance. We know they'll help Durovka any day now, but there's no way to evacuate the wounded safely. Ma'am, you're from the St. Pavlov Foundation, aren't you? I recognize your badge. Mikhail's pleading gaze on Marcia says what he cannot. That's correct, Mikhail. Do you know how many people are still in the hospital? About 100. Most of the wounded that are too weak to move, along with the doctors and nurses. What will happen if Manus Vindicta surrounds the hospital? Scenario plays out in Marcia's mind to its inevitable end.
Don't worry.
I'll contact the Foundation and Sen, explain the situation and request immediate support. But they won't have time to get here before the Manus, before then. Marcia looks at Adelheid. Her head has dipped, heavy with thoughts of her own. Mikhail, I need to discuss this with my
I'll do my
comrade.
best.
If possible, I would join you at the hospital and do what I can to assist you until the Foundation arrives. Thank you. Behind them, Adelheid has opened the door and briskly stepped outside. Inside the house, Adelheid removes a little shield hanging at her waist. Thin sheet metal with a rough weld. Never properly polished, its uneven edges sting her palms as she turns it in her hand.
What if...
By this time tomorrow, we may have reclaimed our stolen relics. All the wealth and history of our order lies just out of grasp. The thin morning light turns the distant horizon pale.
But
By this time tomorrow, that hospital and all of the people inside may be nothing more than a charred ruin.
Adelheid.
These people need our help. Adelheid frowns, yet her eyes can't help tracing the simple strokes painted across the shield. Stas had never seen their home. He had no idea what Hohes Schloss actually looked like, but through Adelheid's words, it seems he imagined it as an unyielding tower that stood tall atop a mountain for 1,000 years. A castle where generations of knights lived, fighting for justice and service of the weak and the needy. A place she had left before coming to Sen, where she had met a boy in need of help. The boy who painted this tall and noble tower. Losing those relics has laid our shame bare to the whole world. As acting Grand Master, I failed to stop them. I was derelict in my most sacred duty. Now I have a chance to right this injustice. I cannot allow them to escape. If the order is to survive, we must reclaim those priceless treasures. Adelaide looks down the road toward the town center, conflict tightening her expression.
You shall be the shield that protects the weak.
Adelaide replies with a dry, bitter laugh. We always recite the words from the Code of Chivalry and the Knight's Vows before we march.
Whether to defend a knight's honor or save precious lives, such things ought not be weighed against one another. However...
Yes, here we are, forced to decide. Marcia walks up to her mentor and comrade in arms.
Adelheid,
Remind me, Sister Adelheid, why did you receive the shield? She replied with a sharp glance, deep with turmoil.
back then,
A boy lingered in death's hand, sick with a deadly fever, but I cured him. In turn, I suppose he wanted to protect me. May not be the equal of our greatest relics, but it was given with noble intention. Neither need say the obvious. Let's see. Neither need say the obvious. A bullet would pass through that thin sheet metal like it was paper. The Adelheid planned to carry it into battle all the same. Our vows have always been in service to people like him, without expectation of reward. That single act of mercy is more worthy of our vows than 1,000 gilded relics and chests of looted gold. That shield is proof of your honor as a knight. I don't see a dilemma at all. Marcia's voice is as soft as rustling grass. She knows she's challenging everything her mentor has ever held dear, but she'll not let it go unsaid. If we miss this opportunity, there may never be another chance to reclaim what we've lost. But that order has a long way ahead. Long enough for us to restore its glory and fill the emptied castle once more. Let it begin with that rusty shield. Let it be a sign of what it is to be a true knight. Marcia stands firm. She can sense her old master hesitating. All she needs is a gentle push. Yet, for as much as it might herald a new beginning, that tower of her shield is also a reminder of their roots.
you've changed.
I remember when you were the one that couldn't wait to face the enemy, leaping to your death instead of falling back to care for the wounded. Marcia smiles softly.
I just hope that the changes I have gone through will lead me to a brighter future.
War changes as it changes everything, in ways that cannot be undone, but I must believe the changes I went through have a purpose. With 2 Hoshland knights in their defense, the hospital may just hold out until the Foundation support arrives. Marcia exhales in relief. Thank you, Adelheid. She smiles and then takes out her communicator. Mr. Razor, we have an emergency. Adelheid gives the shield one last glance before fastening it back to her waist. Oh no. Combat Hospital Durovka? 4 of them waste no time and reach Durovka by noon. You can spy the hospital from the end of the road. Someone else comes into view as well, rising smoke. Damn it, they're already here.
Hold on!
Wait, Lexi. Marcia grabs the soldier just before he begins to charge. She fixes her focus on the distant scene. Smoke isn't coming from the hospital, it's ringing outside. They're still fighting. What's that? In the bright flare of exploding grenades, hardened steel flashes silver, and horses pant and whiny as they pound across the concrete. It can only be the order. They're here, and they're fighting Manus Vindicte. Adelheid's voice lifts with each word. Then there were other knights nearby. After the initial shock, Marcia nearly cries out in joy and relief. Hurry, let's move. She releases Alexei as they all begin to dash forward toward the battle. Adelheid follows a few steps behind. She can see Marcia from the back. All of a sudden, it seems as if she were that full-hearted girl once more. But then the wind lifts the edge of her grayish-green coat, revealing a glimpse of the nurse's uniform beneath. Hmm. The unexpected arrival of a dozen knights of the Hochland Order catches the splinter force of Manus Vindicta completely off guard. Outside the hospital, the knights mop up, ensuring the threat is completely neutralized.
Mr. Reza,
The hospital is safe. We'd run the menace off for now, thanks to the Hochland Order. I need to speak with the head of the hospital and assess our situation.
Reinforcements will arrive soon.
Your requested reinforcements are still en route. Even if menace aren't a threat for now, the hospital needs to be evacuated. Understood. Just as Marcia finishes her report, she is suddenly pulled into a warm, excited embrace. My dear Marcia, you're alive. Familiar face brightens on her like a golden sun. Her childhood sparring partner leaps toward her with a beaming smile. Marcia hugs her back just as
I'm
tightly.
glad.
Yes, Hilda, I'm alive. So glad we found you here, but why are you here?
It was an accident.
We weren't supposed to come this way, but we heard from some of the evacuees that the hospital was in trouble. We rode as fast as we could. God be good, we made it in time.
Thank goodness.
And on top of that, to find you and Master Adelheid together. It is truly a blessed day, sister. Aw. Adelheid does not interrupt the reunion between comrades. She listens to Hildegard as the victorious warrior beams with yet more words of joy and knightly elan, drifting deep into thought. Aw. I like this one. Analgesic Method. Hallway Combat Hospital. Although Manus Vindicta have been driven off, the battle has only worsened the hospital's condition. Its corridors, already crowded, have received a new influx of wounded. Coughs and low groans echo out even past the doors. What knights and soldiers can stand help move the wounded through the hallway and into the makeshift triage. We have to go. We're all gonna die. We're going to die. The soldier on one of the beds suddenly thrashes upright, shoving away the nurse, who is trying to stymie his bleeding. The nurse grips his shoulder to steady him. Another doctor rushes over with several strips of cloth, trying to tie the soldier's arm to the side of the bed, but he only struggles harder. Doctor, he needs a sedative? No, his pulse is too weak. Someone hold him down. Just then a hand covered in armor reaches in and presses gently on the soldier's forehead. Sister Marcia. In short order, Marcia has made herself indispensable to the staff here as they treat the wounded and dying as best as they can.
Don't worry.
I've used my arcane skill to calm his delirium. He should be able to treat him. You should be able to treat him now. She moves between wards, her pale face running damp with sweat. Phew. Sister, you've arrived just in time. On the bed, the soldier's murmuring softens and his movements slow. The doctor quickly binds his limbs and begins stitching the wound. Sister Marcia. Marcia turns and sees Mikhail at the doorway, accompanied by a woman in a nun's uniform. Marcia checks the soldier for a moment. For a moment more, when the doctor gives her a nod, she steps toward the door. I am Mother Superior Irene, and you must be the woman from the Foundation. She takes hold of Marcia's hands in a firm but gentle grasp. God bless you for what you've done here. I've done very little, Reverend Mother. The Knights of the Hochland Order arrived before we did, but more support from the Foundation is on the way. They should arrive before nightfall. Any help they can provide is already a miracle. There are still so many wounded here. These young men need all the help we can give them. She looks around the hospital, her expression heavy with grief. We'd hoped that there would finally be an end to this bloodshed after the armistice, but it seems the war continues, just wearing a different face. The rumors of bandits and violence further east. Everyone was worried for their families, but they want to help. They want to bring an end to this violence.
I'll do my best.
I'll see about securing their passage home, Reverend Mother. I'm certain the Foundation will appreciate whatever help they can offer. Renan thanks Marsha once again, even more effusively than the last time. Mother Irene. A panting nurse rushes down the hallway, holding an empty glass bottle. We're out of ether. There's only one bottle left in the warehouse. More bad news arrives, and the dutiful woman responds. Okay, I'm back. I had to see what that sound was. It was just the family. It was Mom with the doggy, just there. Just weigh the value of each resource against the lives and suffering around her. Prioritize surgeries. We need to make this bottle last until the evening. For the others, we'll have to rely on pressure and immobilization. Have we any alcohol left? The nurse nods. Shame it's all ethyl. More than anything, I think these boys need a stiff drink, but in lieu of that, soak some herbs with it and use them as topical salves. She turns to Marsha. Sister, would you mind relaying the urgency of our situation to the Foundation once more?
Don't worry.
Of course. Marsha looks around the room and sees other knights in silver armor working through their injuries and pain to assist the beleaguered hospital staff. She tightens her trembling hand and makes a resolute decision. Reverend Mother, perhaps there's something more I could do? Uh-oh. Let me move it to the side. Oh my gosh. What? What is this? Oh my god, the thing keeps... Oh my god, I can't touch those? Oh, it just like... That other one's a bit... actually, I get the... Where is the thingy that it's telling me... Where's the stress bar? That's the thing I want to know. Okay, well, I did it anyway. Early in the morning, Adelheid moves to the hospital searching for someone. Sister Hildegard, have you seen Marsha? Hildegard pauses with a question. She's been boarding up doors and windows since the evening prior. I passed by her about half an hour ago. She was coming out of the operating room. Why? I haven't been able to find her.
What's going on?
What was she doing in an operating room? Oh, I can explain. A nearby nurse pushes a medicine cabinet as a brace against the door and joins the conversation. After we ran out of anesthetic last night, Sister Marsha offered to use her arcane skill to help the men through their surgeries. Last I saw her, she was headed to the storage room. Adelheid exchanges a knowing look with Hildegard, her eyebrows knit tightly. Do you have any icy, nurse? Do you have any ice, nurse? We need a bucket full or more. Nothing we can spare here, no, but some of the soldiers found an ice room in the cellar of an old building nearby. It was quite large. I think perhaps it was for a restaurant. We've been sending parties to collect ice from it from time to time, but there should still be plenty left. But what do you need the ice for?
No need to worry.
Worry not, we'll take care of it. Hildegard, fetch that ice and bring it to the storage room now. That foolhardy girl, she pushed herself far beyond her limits, I'm certain of it. I doubt she can even move for all the pain she's taken in. As Adelheid enters the storage room, her suspicions are immediately confirmed by the slow, ragged breaths that heave out from the corner. Damn. In a room of empty boxes, old sheets, and broken things, she finds Marcia curled up against the wall. Her eyes are shut. Tears and sweat form a confluence of rivers as they pour down her cheeks and neck. Marcia! Adelheid hurries to her side and eases her gently to the floor. At just a touch, you can feel the burning heat radiating from her body. Adelheid?
Leave it to me.
Shh, don't speak. Slow your breathing. There's nothing for it now. You must simply endure. Hildegard is bringing up some ice water and will cool you down just like we used to back home. Do you remember that? I know you've always feared the cold. You have every reason, but you won't survive this heat. Marcia gives a small nod, forcing a faint, apologetic smile.
I understand.
You just won't be content until you die a martyr, will you? Why would you do something so reckless? Every time you take in someone else's pain, you put your own life at risk. I know, but I have you. Marcia gasped, the words out between heaves, her voice weak. Adelheid is struck in waves, concern, then fury, pity, and lastly pride. Had there been no other nights in the hospital, Marcia might have looked for other options, but she knew the others would understand what she'd done and what to do. It wasn't reckless, it was a calculated risk, an act of complete trust in her comrades in arms. Promise me, Marcia. Swear by your oath you will never do this to me again. Marcia. The other knights arrive, hauling a tub and buckets of ice water, barking orders back and forth as they clear a space in the crowded room. Together they lift Marcia up and ease her into the icy water. Burning heat hits icy cold. The clash is severe, sharp, painful, sending her into convulsing shivers as she sinks into the tub. So, when I was little, I was like super sick. Just quick little story. I remember I had to be put into the water, like an ice bath too, when I was little. So so nothing bad happened, so my temp didn't keep rising. I was like super little when that happened. I don't remember what I had. I have to ask my mom. But yeah, like I was like super sick. Burning heat hits icy cold. The clash is severe, sharp, painful, sending her into convulsing shivers as she sinks into the tub. Words fail to breach through her now clattering teeth. Hot and cold slam into one another like the beginning of a cyclone. The pain swirls in her, tearing her thoughts apart. Her vision darkens.
Marcia?
She falls back into the abyss. Wait, that one was quick. The eagle and the firewood. Huh. Absorb all negative emotions. Okay. Oh my god! I just noticed that the others, like, absorb... Oh, what? Oh, I can't touch that, I remember. What? It just completely, like, tanks all of my stuff? Well, at least new ones come up, but holy crap. Get over here. There we go. Game over. Hiya! Hurry now, Freya. Is that the name of her horse? That's actually a sick name. For a horse? That's cool. The Sashen lifts its hooves and charges into the fierce alpine wind. Above them an eagle flies, its broad and powerful wings cut into the sky like a golden arrow.
Look above us. It's wonderful to see Verena flying so high after her recovery.
Marsha gazes at the soaring rafter, her young face lit with excitement. She had found the injured eaglet beneath a mountain ridge a month ago and took it under her care. Now, as if a gift is in honor of her 18th birthday, her charge once again takes flight. A good omen, she hopes, for her own memory. Ceremony. With the swearing of her sacred vows in the order, on this day, dressed in her finest robes, she will become a true knight. Today, Freya, I become a knight of the order, sworn to fight in its honor. I submitted an application too. If the Grandmaster accepts, I'll be trained as a pilot. Okay. Excuse me for one moment. I just finished my food. She leans down to share her secret dream with the horse as they ride forward.
I just hope that...
And I'll fly through the air just like Verena. I can't even imagine what it must be like to see the world from above. They say that once you're high enough, the whole world just looks like moss growing over a rock. Young Nama spurs her horse, giving chase to the triumphant eagle. She is about to become a knight, and soon a pilot flying over the field of battle. With the wind whipping past her ears, she feels as if she is already flying, right in the wind through fire and blood, toward her future glory.
Skill and courage alone decide victory and defeat.
Up there in the sky, skill and courage alone decide victory and defeat, just like jousting knights in the old days. Up there, she can bring victory and honor to her order and her nation. She loses herself in the vision. In her mind, she imagines herself as her eagle, looking down at the world as she swoops between the clouds. Boundary between earth and sky dissolves. Her dream feels close enough to touch. Faster, Freya! We have to keep up. The horse answers with a loud neigh. Sounds like an agreement. She races wherever the knight's heart leads them, swift as a flash. No field is too vast for them. Glory, bravery, loyalty, these are virtues and the triumphs of a knight. Galloping hard, Marsha believes her path lies wherever these words guide her. At last the eagle becomes no more than a gray speck on the horizon, and Marsha allows her steed to slow and rest. Her dream flies off on the back of those golden wings until...
Marsha.
There you are, Marsha. Marsha snaps out of her reverie. Reverie? She dismounts in a flash and rushes toward her teacher.
Adelheid!
Adelheid, did the reply come? Did the Grandmaster approve my application? Adelheid sighs. I'm sorry, Marsha, but you've been assigned to the 15th Infantry Regiment. You depart in 1 week. Adelheid grips Marsha's shoulder firmly, trying to temper her young novice's enthusiasm with a serious look.
There's nothing romantic about the field of battle, Marsha.
It's nothing about the war you're about to face, child. Nothing romantic about the war you're about to face, child. You must be ready to take care of yourself. At the time, Marsha couldn't fully understand the gravity of her mentor's words. Though she did not get to live out her dream, She was still excited to serve her order, able to finally march out and win glory as a knight. Combat Hospital, Durovka. Marsha wakes up with a deep ache in her bones. Her heartbeat drums in her ears. The ice water has done its job, easing the worst of her pain. She lies on a makeshift bed of sheets. Her clothes already dry. I need to thank Adelheid properly? She sits up, and the first thing that meets her eyes is a pair of hands. The nails are uneven. Thick calluses cover the joints. The dry skin is cracked, and bronze stains linger around the fingertips. They are the hardened hands of a trained knight, reshaped by disinfectant and iodine. Who can check on Ilya? His wound may be infected. Marsha steps out of the storage room. I have Dakin's solution here. Marsha returns to her work as though nothing had ever happened. Though the words of her mentor linger in the back of her mind.
Don't worry.
Let me clean this wound. She returns to the patient and leaves her past behind. Stars and the moon hang in the sky once more, but there's still no sign of reinforcements or relief as Marsha calls to make a report.
Commander Kreas.
Sir, if possible, I hope the Foundation will be able to transfer the heavily wounded to safer territory. I will speak with Razor and leave the matter to him. Sir Razor was supposed to meet me in town this evening, but I haven't been able to reach him. I received a report that he made contact with Menace Vindictae along the way, but as soon as he mops up that little problem, he should arrive at the hospital without delay. Marsha allows herself to relax. Tense, aching muscles finally slack. Though the change would be imperceptible to most. Good, then I'll await his arrival.
But
There are some soldiers from here from out east, the Dawn region. They've heard about the fighting there and wanted to help. Could transportation be arranged? Also, I've submitted a request to remain here and assist the hospital staff until the evacuation is complete. Approved and arranged. Though I expect you to accompany them on their journey back. The Timekeeper's team will be headed that way as well. Your next mission is to support our Xeno allies in their fight and to rendezvous with the Timekeeper's team to assist them in whatever they need. Understood, sir. Hold on, soldier. Mind if I ask you about your friends from the Order? They'll be staying behind here as well for the time being. We're working together to get the wounded treated and evacuated safely. Right. Here's hoping this will mark a change in our rocky relationship. Keep me updated. Yes, sir.
Marsha.
Marsha? Marsha hears someone calling her name. Not far away, someone and I sit together in a loose circle, soft laughter drifting from the group. Hildegard waves at her. Feeling better?
Don't worry.
Yes, I'm sorry for making you worry. Hildegard waves her hand.
Thank goodness.
I'm just glad Adelheid found you when she did. I'm not sure if you would have lasted much longer. Marsha sits down beside her. What were you talking about? Old memories, remembering all the chores we had to do when we were
I
novices.
still remember.
Under the night sky, the nicest faces light up as they reminisce. I remember carrying up those bundles of firewood that were nearly as tall as we were. Yeah, no, it wasn't even our job most of the time. And every would-be knight had a pure heart. Some of the older novices would often slack off and bully the younger kids into doing their work. All the way up the hill, 3 or 4 of us at a time. The bundles would never hold together. I remember we'd try to chase the ones that fell out as they rolled off the side, tumbling into the woods. 2 young novices would simply sit at the edge of the slope and sigh. I always loved the stories you told about them. Those falling pieces were actually adventurous wood sprites we had freed from their roots, and now they were traveling to distant lands. They would talk to the wind, do battle with legions of insects and beasts, float along rivers, and eventually rest on the shore, waiting for a new journey to begin. Haha, what can I say? I've always enjoyed a nightly adventure. They laugh together like old friends, like sisters. under the hospital eaves, the branches in the courtyard act as silent witnesses, holding on to their memories. A breeze passes through, and those memories drift away bit by bit into the
I
night.
miss those days so much, Marsha. When even the most trivial of things carried an unquestioned meaning. Everything was in perfect order.
Things felt as though they were in perfect order. Every bundle of wood had its purpose, even if it was only meant to warm a study room. It should be as simple as that. Knights that set out to fight for justice and wander the land, returning laden with treasures and glory. This was the story they wanted for themselves. Back then, they couldn't or wouldn't imagine any other end. Have you spoken to the Grand Master? I have. We're all concerned with what we should do next.
Marsha, you found your own path, haven't you?
There's a trace of envy in her eyes as she says it. You know, Hilde, ever since I met Adelheid again, I started dreaming of the old days. Marsha opens her hand, as if turning the pages of a book. Dreams that have let me relive my past. The good and the bad.
One thing is certain. Though I traveled far, I never strayed from the right path.
Well, seeing things here, I think that's true of the Knights of Hoshland as well. Marsha glances around at the end of her words. Hilde, where is Adelheid? To be continued. What? Oh, okay, I accidentally started again. Nah, it's... The burden of glory. Outside, Combat Hospital. Marsha finds the knight a short walk from the hospital, sitting in quiet contemplation at the edge of a field. She sits down near her without intruding. The knight sits among the bending tall grass like an old stone, as if she had always been there. To sit in silence and set the mind to quiet is an essential virtue for a knight. In contemplation, we may search our resolve and explore the depths of our belief. It was a lecture she had heard before, and the message was clear. So for some time longer, they sit together in silence, accompanied by only the rustle of the autumn wind.
However...
With our training, we can sometimes forget that we do need to use arcane skills to quiet our emotion. Sometimes it is better to do battle with the trouble in our hearts instead of pushing it away. What is it you're fighting? Adelheid? Regret. When I saw our knights outside the hospital, I was relieved, overjoyed to have found some of our lost comrades, but though we saved these people, we left Rejoya, we let Mana slip through our hands.
I can hardly believe it.
I cannot find a center between my joy and my despair. Now the path ahead for our orders seems more unclear than ever before. We made the right decision based on what we knew. I did, and I am greatly heartened to have found Hildegard and the others, that it is itself a blessing.
However...
But they did not come here for me. I didn't know they were here. I didn't even know they were alive. Our order has no home and no direction. It has only magnified my disgrace.
There's no need.
I know the burdens of command weigh heavy on you, sister, but you must not be so harsh on yourself. You were given responsibility for an organization that was already fallen to ruin. Its troubles are not of your making. There is a little solace in that. But though I may not have created these problems, I have been a steward over them and stubbornly refused to fix them. And I think I found the reason. I am in search of an answer, not just for the Order, but for my own sake. Who is responsible for the Order's downfall? A cruel question. Manus Vindicte? That answer is too easy. To blame an enemy for our downfall is a hollow excuse. Shall I blame the Kaiser, the military, the state? How long have we served the rulers of this land and never once doubted their authority? But I fear the truth is all too simple. The Order has grown outdated. The age of chivalry is long over. We've always been a mere remnant. The horrors of this war come as a long-awaited death knell.
But
But Adelheid raises her hand, stopping Marcia.
Back then,
When I found you in that storage room, I was filled with guilt and regret. I felt the same way the day I heard of your death. I will never forget
I
or regret saving you from that snow child.
regretted it.
Perhaps I was wrong to bring you to the Order. You could have lived some happy life with a normal family. Instead, we forced you to suppress your nature, molded you into a warrior, and convinced you that it was your duty to give your life for the sake of your vows. Silent grief strikes Marcia's heart. Adelheid has carried her death all this time.
Adelheid,
Sorry I didn't tell you then. I shouldn't have let you carry that
this
guilt.
is my choice.
I don't regret becoming a knight, Adelheid. My days with the Order have given me the most precious gift. It is the character you, Adelheid, and the Order gave to me that has kept me from despair in the face of horror. It is my vows that keep me on my path when the way is narrow and the road uneasy. Marcia turns to Adelheid, closing in toward her. Leaning her face, Adelheid replies with a defeated
I
sigh.
understand.
You can see your resolve. Once we brought your temperature down, I left to help the others.
However,
I feel as though I looked away only a moment before you were right back up, tending to the wound as if you had forgotten you had nearly died. You may only have the pauldrons now, but you are as true a knight as any of us. A worthy sister of the Hochland Order. Adelheid returns briefly to her contemplation, picturing the knights working tirelessly through their hospital, and Marcia stands among them. So I say to myself, see, Adelheid, chivalry has not faded after all. It can still be a shield that protects the weak and vulnerable of this age. Adelheid turns to meet Marcia's eyes, conviction and pride burning on her face.
Marcia.
As for the proposal you mentioned, this reimagining of the Order, I will consider it. Oh, that's good. Wouldn't that just be lovely? Hallway. Combat Hospital. In the soft golden light of dawn, a transport convoy bearing the Foundation's logo arrives outside the hospital. Marcia finishes up her rotation through the ward, but on hearing the noise, she finds an unboarded window and leans out to get a view. Mr. Razor, good to see you finally arrived. Squad captain offers her a wordless nod before returning to unloading the vehicle. Behind him, people in gray and white, checkered uniforms carry supplies into the hospital as new medics rush in beside them. Reverend Mother, this is Mr. Razor from the Foundation. Marcia leads Irene over. Mr. Razor, we appreciate the Foundation's support. Your arrival is a long-awaited godsend.
Don't mention it.
Don't mention it. We've got our orders. We'll begin by transferring all the heavily wounded out to a safer location.
Be ready.
In 4 days' time, there will be a train passing through the station nearby. Everyone else is to load up there for evacuation.
Don't worry.
I've been given permission to remain with you here until that time, and once we evacuate, I'll be accompanying the soldiers that wish to keep fighting in the Dawn region. We'll be deployed to assist the Xeno Cavalry Corps near Beregrad. Wonderful, I'll share the good news immediately. After Irene leaves, Razor turns back to Marcia. Should apologize, we arrived much later than intended. I'm not proud of that. I understand. Mr. Christ informed me of the situation. You were delayed by Menace Vindictae.
And
We ran into one of the...
it involves you.
We ran into one of their own convoys along the way. It was heavily defended, but what they were transporting might just be of interest to you. Marcia's heart skips a beat.
Do you mean...
Follow me, please.
You should gather the knights first. Marcia summons her brothers and sisters, and they follow Razor out to the Foundation's parked convoy. Among the familiar liveries of the Foundation, one truck stands apart.
Oh,
A Manus truck?
Exactly.
Correct. We had already gotten word that the hospital was secure, so we knew we had an opportunity. We decided to engage them just to see what was worth all the fuss they put into defending it.
But
We sent them packing and managed to seize the transports they were protecting, which led us to this one. During the inventory, we noticed that many of the items bore the seal of your order, Marcia, so the Foundation authorized us to return these spoils to the Hochland Order.
What?
Adelheid steps forward in a disbelief as Razor opens the door of the truck. Inside the dim interior lies dozens of covered paintings, stacks upon stacks of yellowed books and tomes, silverware and shattered dust-covered sword.
I can hardly believe
The
it.
ledger of the Hoshland Order, candlesticks from the meeting hall, and... oh wow. Sword forged of patterned steel rests among them. Its hilt is wrapped in black horsehide. The blade fractured into several pieces. Familiar Latin inscription can still be made out along the broken blade. That's Herman's sword, the one that vanished after his death. Adelheid gathers the broken blade into her arms. Her finger runs along the edge lightly, and a thin line of blood wells up. A dim, dark blue shimmer ripples across the sword. Herman's arcane skill, bound to the blade and awakened by blood, reveals the truth. Herman used this sword in his fight with Manus Vindictae, leaving traces of their incantations on it. Must have taken it to hide any evidence of their involvement. A long-rumored secret finally lays itself bare. Behind Adelheid, the knights drive their swords into the earth, hands resting on the hilts, heads bowed in silence. Marcia puts her hands together and offers a quiet prayer for her old Grand Master. We didn't recognize the sword at first, but we found the Order's name on some of those books and documents. That we knew for sure after we saw this. Razor pulls away. Let me see. We knew after that. Razor pulls away the velvet cloth covering the paintings. After the dust settles, the Solomon's sacred past appears on display in front of them.
Oh, this is...
That's Marcia's dubbing ceremony. I remember we had a painter staying with us at the castle. He painted the ceremony to repay us for our hospitality. That was the day Marcia took her vows as a knight. To have such a moment memorialized in a painting is a rare honor. Yet, by coincidence, Marcia's knighting was preserved forever. A moment that belonged not just to her, but to all the knights of her order. Every knight once stood in that same place during the dubbing ceremony. They pledged vows before their new brothers and sisters and waited for the sword, the very symbol of knighthood, to rest on their shoulders. Aw. I vow to hold the Hoshland Order in reverence, to defend it faithfully. I vow to keep this oath without deceit, to heed the statutes of virtue, and to honor the counsel of my brethren.
Bis zum Tage meines Todes.
Marcia murmurs her oaths beneath her breath, flooded by the
All
memory.
the training I've done was in service of that day.
The day I became a knight. In the painting, Marcia's expression is solemn. She wears her ceremonial attire, her folded hands tell her expectation for the glory to come. Countless faces of knights, living and fallen, seem as though they could perfectly overlap with the girl's face. The knights departed from Schloss for the dubbing ceremony, carrying out their duties under the Grand Master's
I
command.
looked forward to it.
We looked ahead to the future missions, eager to prove ourselves, to return with glory, glory earned by our swords, until that knightly glory was laid to waste beneath the withering scythe of machine gun fire. Now the ones that survive wander without purpose around its grave. But the young woman in that painting walks a different path, a narrow one, defined by her vows, but no longer constrained to them. Path too small for steeds to charge, too tight for armor to pass. So she releases her horse, lays down her sword, and packs away her breastplate. Yes, she keeps her pauldrons. Her silvery steel gleams as a guide, like the North Star, a reminder of what matters. Aw.
The Order.
The Knights of Hoshland must begin anew. As the painting is uncovered, the distance between past and present clears away the dust of history. It opens a bloody wound long left untended, a rift that has kept them divided and weak. Adelheid removes her cloak and gently covers the broken sword.
I can hardly believe it.
I never would have dared to dream the sword could be recovered. Stranger still for it to have been found and returned by an organization she had long distrusted. Though the sword is far from our order's most precious relic, it's possible all of the items of true value are gone forever. But it doesn't matter. Painting before them once proudly adorned their homes, stone corridor. Candlesticks once burned in the meeting hall, witnessing the knights' worship and prayer. Apart from that sword, the rest of the items are humble things from the castle. Yet, though they may be of little worth, they are rich in memories, not all of them glorious, but small, tangible, and real.
However...
Even so, I feel our treasure has been restored. Just like the shield Stas gave to Adelheid, the one she carries at her waist.
What defines a knight?
Adelheid asks herself. To uphold our values and never bow to evil, to honor our brethren alive and dead through our words and our deeds.
It's more of a burden than an honor.
It's more of a burden than an honor. You told me that after the dubbing ceremony. Marcia walks up to her mentor and comrade in arms.
Yes.
Yes. A knight's path is not one of extravagance and luxury. We learn to endure hardship and live simply, to keep our minds fixed on justice. Adelheid looks deep into Marcia's eyes. The future of knighthood in her vision stands right beside her. The answer is within reach. Adelheid turns and faces the others. Brothers and sisters, after we leave this hospital, we will search for our scattered comrades.
Well then.
Along the way, I intend to follow Sister Marcia's advice. This age does not need mounted warriors, but it still needs the Order. We will find a new purpose, to help the vulnerable, to help the sick, or to heal the sick and care for the wounded as we once did in days of old. The knights will distance themselves from the wicked games of war. We shall return to where we first began.
Von diesem Tage an kämpfen wir nur noch Leben zu retten.
From this
Vor
day
der
on,
Sichel des Todes.
we fight only to save lives from the sickle of death. Our efforts will no longer be confined by nationality or creed. A murmur ripples through the night, yet not a single voice rises in opposition. Marcia listens quietly, surprised. We will follow wherever you lead, Adelheid, but this is a significant change.
Well then.
That may be so. I am but the acting Grandmaster, though it is my vision. I will convene a meeting of the Order so that we might decide on our path together. Adelheid looks at Razor.
What if...
The Order chooses this path. There may come a day when we will seek to collaborate with the Foundation, provided the Foundation remains what it is today. Spy Leader bows his head in respectful agreement.
May the peace be with us.
Marcia, you will serve as the bridge between the Order and the Foundation.
Sister Marcia, should that day come, I hope that you will be, as you have been, a bridge between our organizations.
I'll do my best.
I will, Grandmaster. Simple words are said as a solemn oath. A breeze sweeps across the plains, carrying the crisp scent of late autumn frost. As it passes through them, it seems to strip away the dust that has gathered on their order. The morning light shines on them, a promise of a new day, a new beginning. Marcia raises her hand before her eyes. The brilliant dawn spills through her fingertips.
What a good day it is.
The end. That was good. I liked it. I'm surprised though, this art piece right here didn't appear in the story though. Like this little background. Like seeing this like made me think like, oh man, it was gonna like go, you know, like talk about the origins, and it did. But I thought we were gonna like experience like I guess this moment right here that was being shown. But yeah, that was 8 stages already. That didn't take too long. That was Marcia's character story in the name of Chivalry. What do I give it? I think for character stories, I think I'm gonna give it like a strong 8. I liked it. It was, I think it was good. But yeah, I mean, it's always nice to see the character stories and like the anecdotes when when characters like reminisce and like look back to their past and whatnot, and like some of their origins, like their origin stories and whatnot. It was cool to see her you know, how she became a knight and whatnot. I think that was awesome. But yeah, that is gonna do it. That was Marsha's character story again. Let me know your thoughts and opinions if you got this far in the video. Appreciate any likes, comments, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying. Would mean a lot. Helps me out a lot too. But yeah, that is gonna do it for this one. Appreciate you guys chilling and hanging out. And till the next one. That is.